Salutations and welcome to another one of my proof of concept videos for today. So one thing I could do for the community, if it's something that's interesting to people, is just kind of go over the news. Now, we don't get a ton of news in Homecoming. It's a small volunteer group that works on it, but we occasionally, I do see things that could pop up on the screen, and right now you can join in on the beta server and download and play that and try out some of the new power, or try out some of the new things that are coming on issue 28, page 3. So my idea here is I got a couple of options here. I could just make this to where I'm reading new news as it's coming out, and read to you some of the new features and stuff that's either just come out or it's coming out that is seen on the beta branch or whatever. Or I could also go back through some of the previous Homecoming big updates, like issue 25, and just go through those one at a time, because I don't even know what's new in the game from issue 25, for example, because I wasn't into the game back then. They've added things, and I just don't know that they're there and they're added because I've not run across them, right? So I can make like historical, hey, here's what they added in page 1, page 2. I can make videos along those lines, or I could just keep up, or I could just keep up with the newest news. You guys let me know if any of this is helpful for you. But for today, I'm going to read the newest of new news, which is some of the patch notes that they've started to put together for issue 28, Legacy, page 3. So I think the name of issue 28 is Legacy, and we're on the third major update for that, which would be page 3. So what's new in this? What can you experience if you open up the beta? You can download the beta server and give that a try. And if you haven't done it before, it is pretty cool. You can set your character any level. You can give them enhancements or auto enhance them up, and go out and just try some of the new power sets as they're coming out, or try some of the new dungeons or whatever it is. So the high level view is this, right? The marquee features is there's going to be a new expanded +5 and incarnate +6 and +7 difficulty options, right? So up until this point, you've always been able to go up to +4. So you can set it to where the enemies are 4 levels higher than what they're supposed to be, up to that. If you need a tougher challenge, you had a really tough build and you're just running Ouroboros or whatever the deal may be. Some people really like to challenge themselves. Well, apparently that's not good enough for some people. So now they're going to say you can go up to +5 or +6 or 7 if you got your incarnate powers. You can force the system to go up to +6 and +7 even without incarnate powers, but you will likely die. You just have to do it with the / command because it'll be hidden from the UI. But normally you do that with that little bubble in the lower corner. Show that off in the last video. There's also going to be a new task force, the Callisti Wharf Task Force. There is an expansion to Labyrinth of Fog, which I didn't even know what that was before I read this. And repeatable rank-shifted missions. And there's a new story arc in Callisti Wharf as well. As far as powers and gameplay goes, there's a new power set. Yay, it's a melee power set, which is very exciting. It's Sonic Melee, which I'm very curious what that looks like. And Masterminds, it says Even Con Minion and Lieutenant Pets. So we'll read some more details on that in just a minute. There's going to be a new badge progress tracker or some fixes to it, and some character info window customization. Now, I'm not really showing this news, by the way. I'm assuming you're just listening to me, so I've got some B footage in the background of me playing one of my characters. Let's jump into some of the details on some of these. So with the difficulty options that I talked about before, it says in order to see the new difficulties and whatnot, if you want to see +5, you need to have Alpha, Destiny, or Lore, which are your incarnate powers, plus Well Drinker or Incarnate. +6 if you have Destiny or Lore. So Alpha just won't cut it. Alpha's the very first one you get. You're going to need Destiny or Lore and the Well Drinker or Incarnate. And then +7, Destiny. You have to have Destiny to apply for +7. So, and they've also noted that enemy groups that spawn at level 54 have had their base level range extended up to level 55. Mission modifiers can sometimes swing this to spawns to +1s. Incarnate enemy groups with higher base to hit percentages have had their level range extended up to 60. So existing content that's not impacted by these difficulty changes includes Incarnate Trials, LFG Trials, Mothership Raids, and the Labyrinth of Fog. They're probably hard enough as it is. So check out those notes. If you're into doing the harder stuff, you're going to have more ways to challenge your super optimized group than ever before. The new task force that's coming up is called the Golden Rural, and it is a level 40 to 50 task force. Langston Corporation has been perpetually busy since their arrival in Callisti Wharf, and it's been revealed that they've been collaborating on a joint project with Portal Corporation, one that Marigold Langston promises will change the interdimensional landscape forever. Unfortunately, emergency has struck that threatens to throw the whole project in disarray. Nemesis has kidnapped several key Langston Corp scientists in an effort to steal the technology himself, or if nothing else, ensure that it can never be used against him. Marigold Langston has received official clearance from Paragon City to assemble a superpowered task force of competent individuals who aren't afraid of the threat posed by the Perusian Prince of Automatons. This job will involve delivering a counteroffensive to Nemesis operation, something not many can claim to have done. But the Goldbreaker's heiress has some tricks of her own she believes will even the odds. So that's going to be in Callisto Wharf, and it's a hero mission and it's co-op. So I believe you can get rogues or whatever to come with you as well. But it's level 40 to 50. Kind of along those lines, there's going to be a new story arc, Death Resurrected, and it's given by Willie Galloway. Willie Galloway is an eccentric archivist for the Midnighters who is highly concerned about the numerous relics being traded throughout Callisti Wharf. When he sends you to break up the Warriors' relic auction, you discover the Skulls are strangely invested in buying magical weapons. Why are the Skulls so interested in these artifacts when before they never seemed to have much to do with the trade? And how did the Skulls get so much power in the first place? So that's a new story arc. Imagine it'll be added to Ouroboros as well, so we'll be able to play it through that. Now, there's been expansion through the Labyrinth of Fog, and honestly, I'm not super sure who's playing this. I'm kind of curious if any of you have played Labyrinth of Fog, and what do you think about it? It is really, from what I understand, it is like an open raid area that's meant for large groups, optimized groups. It's meant to be challenging in-game stuff. So I have not jumped into it because I usually play solo with small groups. It seems rather intimidating and whatnot, but there's some interesting mechanics going in on that. So you may want to check all of that out. But they're adding some new mechanics to that. So lots and lots of mechanics, like pages and pages of mechanics, including adding some new shop NPCs to the area to help make it easier for you to get the goods that you need when you're getting your butt handed to you and you got to go back and recharge. A new repeat mission NPC has been added, the Watcher. It's added to your contacts upon first interaction and be called upon anytime thereafter. Located near where the Violet Portal used to be, and offers repeat missions that scale on difficulty and feature rank-shifted enemies. So some interesting stuff there. Let me know if you're interested, and maybe I need to do a deep dive into this. This is a new feature that I believe was added with issue 28. Issue 28, page 1. And so this was definitely added while I was on hiatus, so I'm not very familiar with this. I'm kind of curious how many people like this. One of the things that they're doing, I'm very glad that they're doing with this update, is that all incarnate missions that allow +3 incarnate shifts are going to be in their own bucket in Ouroboros, so they're separated. Right now they're kind of blended in there with all the other level 50 missions. And people don't know, hey, those are incarnate missions. You can use your incarnate powers and you can get usually get incarnate rewards there. I have a video on that, by the way, if you're looking to get some incarnate doohickeys and whatnot. So standardized, let's see here. Standardize the rank names of super arch villains found in the advanced mode and the reward payout amounts. So monster will be monstrosity, archvillain will be supervillain, and hero will be superhero. So there you go, and a lot of task force updates that come with that. Lady Grey's Task Force Advanced Mode will remove the check on the final mission that was misbehaving and removing the Hamadan Essence power, which that's probably a good thing. In the Citadel's Task Force, the 3 council missions and independence ports are now assigned doors that are closer to the tram. Also cool. And Dap Dap Story Arc, Mergers and Acquisitions, we fixed graphical fallback on Dinner Spoon's chrome texture if reflections were turned off. Sounds a little bit more minor. Lots of stuff for you badgers out there. By the way, they have they're working on some new badges like Maze Breaker. If you obtain the Tested by Combat and the Chromatic Combatant badge, you can get that accolade, so to speak. And it might give you, I believe it gives you some max endurance on that one. That's an accolade that gives you max endurance, so yay. And whatnot. You get a Heart of Gold if you complete Marigold Zoe's Langston's Task Force and you earn this badge. And it's a very pretty badge. It's got like the letter Z. Looks like something from a comic book, so that's pretty cool. And there's some other ones there to also check out. The badge tracker is really cool and interesting, and that's probably one of the things I think a lot of people are looking forward to. New functionality added to track the progress of individual badges has been added via a new window. This can be accessed by selecting a badge you don't own and then clicking on the track button. And then you can pin that badge art to your personal info window. Hinted badges no longer show their names as unknown. And you'll see like little progress bars, like Cold Hand of Death that's showing a 62 out of 100 that this guy has finished off. So he can continue to work on earning those badges. Clicking on a badge in the badge window no longer sets it as a title. Change the clear badge title button to a set clear button to make that easier to work out. So you can set the badge you want next to your character name a little bit easier. And there's some costume fixes there that they're working on with some of the costume parts. And rewards, vanity pets. The 4 generals of Akolos drop mini pet recipes of themselves at 1% chance per defeat. The recipes are tradable on the auction house, so that is really cool. The giant monster Nemesis that spawns during the Nemesis Invasion Zone event will now drop 2 unstable Aethers and a 1 in 10 chance to drop a mini pet recipe for mini Nemesis. Also very, very cool. Nemesis bosses now drop a mini pet recipe for a Nemesis Jaguar at 1 in 1,000 chance per defeat, and that is tradable on the auction house. So that's going to take you some grinding if you really want to get into that. So let's see here. I think those are probably the more bigger of the changes. There's a bunch of smaller changes, a lot of fix or rebalancing of some of the mobs and stuff like that. So hopefully they'll have a little bit more teeth on them. And there's pages and pages of that they've been working on. And some of the supergroup, they've made some improvements to that there. And that's all on the beta server, so you can go and you can check that out. Now, before we leave, I don't want to forget about our new melee set, Sonic Melee. This is for brutes, tankers, scrappers, and stalkers. Sonic Melee lets you use the power of sound waves to damage your foes with devastating close-range sonic attacks that can inflict migraines, debuffing their resistances to multiple debuffs and holding foes for a short hold. This can be dramatically increased using Sound Booster. With the ability to attune your frequency to your targets, your single target attacks can trigger powerful reverberating damage over time, helping you quickly bring enemies to their knees. So I won't read every single power, but I'll hit some highlights here. For example, Sonic Thrust, the first one you get. It's a focused attack of intense sonic power with high chance to violently knock a nearby foe off their feet. Deals minimal damage, but can be very effective. If used in conjunction with a tune, you'll match your frequency with the target's resonance, increasing a tune's damage over time. This power's highlight icon indicates the last application of effects is about to expire or has expired. Attune is a melee toggle damage plus special, a high-intensity sound wave that matches the resonant frequency of your target. This power does not inflict much damage, but can be sustained for continued damage over time that will be boosted if you strike the target with Sonic Thrust or Strident Echo. Each of these attacks will further increase the strength of the damage over time. So that's pretty cool. We got a cone attack here with Sonic Clap. You generate a powerful sonic wave that damages foes in front of you with a decent chance to stun and knock them down. Sandman's Whisper for tanker brutes and scrappers only is a damage, smashing energy that can put foes to sleep and lower their resistance. You whisper on your foes' ear with slumbering effects. Foes affected might fall asleep and will have the resistance to damage lowered. This power's highlight icon indicates the last application of effect is about to expire. Now, Stalkers get Assassin's Whisper, a signature Stalker attack. This attack does superior energy and smashing damage on its own as a frontal attack and cannot be interrupted. However, if it is executed while you're hidden, it will do tremendous damage as you whisper to your unsuspecting foe. Affected target is likely to fall asleep and have their damage resistances lowered. This attack may be interrupted if you move or are attacked while executing this power and are hidden. Using this power while not hidden has a chance to critically hit to 33.3% times the number of stacks of Assassin's Focus. Using Assassin's Strike when not hidden will remove all stacks of Assassin's Focus, regardless of whether or not you critically hit. So all of that is pretty cool. Those are just some examples. There are more that are there. You can see the details in the notes and whatnot. Now, what about masterminds here? I believe we said, so some notes that they have here. The standard set bonuses should now last the full duration for most of your summon Pseudo pets. 40% of your standard set bonuses now applies to henchmen that are within range of supremacy. Standard set bonuses are those granted by multiple enhancements of a set. So this is really good. I do play Masterminds on occasion. I do like them. They're a very solo-friendly class. And I've definitely noticed that when you play the really hard content, they melt like a hot knife through butter. So this is hopefully meant to give them a little more staying power so that you can actually enjoy some of the in-game as a Mastermind if you're soloing or whatever have you. Let's see. Mastermind summon powers no longer ignore recharge buffs. They still don't accept recharge enhancements. Henchmen still ignore recharge buffs. I've never really had much of a problem with Mastermind summon powers and recharge issues. They're usually fast enough. All tier 7 powers now accept ATOs. Mastermind henchmen now all spawn even level. Henchman modifiers and stat values have been adjusted in order of keeping them about as effective as before on +2 encounters. Henchman proc damage modifiers have been adjusted in order of keeping them as effective as before on +3 foes. So tier 1 and 2 henchmen should be expected to have lower DPS against even level and +1s, about the same against +2, and perform much better against anything +3 or higher. 1 and 2 henchmen should be somewhat more survivable as they hit less often and for less damage. Tier 1 henchman max hit points decrease from 574 to 448. Tier 2 from 768 to 654. So I imagine that it sounds like they're taking down their hit points and their DPS, right? And that sounds kind of bad on paper, but I'm thinking it's because you're getting the bonuses now from your sets that, or they're getting 40% of the bonuses that would kind of even a lot of this out. Supremacy now grants a bonus to lower level T1 and 2 henchmen regardless of distance. So tier 1s between level 1 and 5 will get +17 to hit, +6. Tier 1 between level 6 and 17 will get +9 to hit, and tier 2 between level 1 and 23 will get +8 to hit. So, and there's a couple of other things there, but it looks like that they are working on fixing some of this. So it's a big rework. If you are a Mastermind main or you just like playing a lot of Mastermind, take a look at the detail notes and let me know what you think about this change. I'd be very, very curious to hear what other Masterminds think. There's a lot of moving pieces. I'll be honest, there's a lot of moving pieces on here. So it's hard for me to know if this is ultimately a win or a little win or a big win. I'm sure it's some win. I doubt it's a loss. They're clearly trying to buff the class, but I'm a little unsure of exactly where that lands up. I guess when it hits live server, I guess I'll see it when it comes out and get just a gut feeling for it. Of course, I could just jump into there now and give it a test shot, but haven't done that just yet. All right, so let me know what you guys think about this format for this news shows. Let me know what you think about the changes that are coming up. Let me know if you want me hear me do this as new news comes out, or if you would like to hear me go over some of the old changes that have come out in some of the older issues. I can certainly do that. But as always, you can always join me on Discord. My friend me at JC Servant. I'll invite you to our Discord server. Maybe I'll put a link in the description. And if you want to come join, it's the Proving Grounds. It is a server mostly for blobbers and CRPGs, but I do have a Homecoming or City of Heroes channel there, and I hang out voice all the time, during the night especially. And if you're on and you want to run some Oro, I would love to run some Oro. Or if you just want to talk shop, I love talking shop. But until next time, I hope you have a great adventure. I'll see you around.